What's up, guys? You guys remember me? It has been way too damn long since I've made a video for you guys, and I just appreciate you guys for sticking around. Even though I haven't made anything in a while, life has gotten in the way, and we've just been so busy. We haven't even been racing or anything. We kind of had to take a little break from that. Too much stuff going on, so I appreciate you guys sticking around. But if you haven't checked out the video of this build and everything that has to do with it, I mean, I fully did the interior, got a new dash, did all that stuff. I mean, she is dialed and race ready, that's for sure. I'm still gonna do some upgrades on this thing. I still have to build solid door or solid window nets for this thing, some swing door ones. Other than that, she's good to go. I am so stoked on this car. I mean, I never would have thought that I would have such a badass car. And I hate to be biased, but I think this thing's pretty sweet, especially because it's built by me. Everything is done on this is by me, you know, of course, with the help of some awesome sponsors and, you know, people that help us out like HCR and Kryptonite and all those companies, Liquid Moly, you know, all those people that help us out. I couldn't do it without you guys, so I appreciate it so much. But anyways, the video is not about me. It's not about this car. It's not about anything about racing. It's about boom. That's right, guys. This car right here, this is not our car. It is not my car. It's not Taryn's car. We don't own it, but it's a customer's car who wants to go racing next year in VORRA, and he wants to get a jump start or head start on it. And we're gonna be doing some stuff. We're gonna tear this thing down, build a brand new roll cage, front and rear bumpers, doors, harnesses, seats, everything you need to do to go racing. And it's gonna be fun. I'm having an awesome time fabbing and building some stuff, and it's really cool to do stuff for you guys, you know what I mean? Those of you guys, he's actually a subscriber, so it's pretty awesome to see, you know, some subscribers that really enjoy, you know, what I've done and what I've built with, you know, that car, and wants to do the same thing to theirs. So I'm gonna help him along the way. We're gonna have a good time. He might be helping me if he can. He's got a crazy work schedule too, and so he only has like one day off a week maybe, especially during this season. So we're gonna be tearing this thing apart and building up some cool stuff, and you know, should be a good time. So stick around. This is probably gonna be like a 2 or 3 part video, but here's part 1. We're gonna rip this thing apart and make it bare bones. Woo! That's right, guys. This guy right here, I'm not sure what year it is. Maybe somebody can comment below and let me know. I forgot to ask him what year it was. But it is completely stock. I mean, stock seats, you know, stock steering wheel. He's got some cool PRP bags up here, which is pretty kind of awesome. I don't think he's going to be able to use that after they were done, just from the helmets and all that stuff, but you know, he's got set up with the SME particle separator and air pumper, and then I think he has some shock therapy springs on there. He's got cool winch. You know, other than that, it's a pretty darn stock car. Bare bones. He actually wants to pick up my seats off of me. I am running the Simpson suspension seats right now in this car, and I love these seats. They're really comfortable. I know I made a video on that. I'll probably post it right up there if you haven't checked it out. It's been a long time ago when the car was actually stock. This car, you know, the car has come a long way since, you know, that video or those times, but you know, it's been a fun journey building this thing. When I built the roll cage and ripped it all down, got solid doors now, you know, everything on this car. But with that being said, we're gonna be doing that to this guy. Unfortunately, we're not gonna go all the way down and build him a full like chassis car. That's not really what he wants to do, because he still wants to be able to use it recreationally, and I don't blame him, because it's kind of, once you go this far to your car, you know, recreation stuff kind of goes out the window, unfortunately. Amazing for racing, but Might have to just pick up a stocky, maybe a new Turbo R, Pro R, something like that. I don't know. I don't have the money for it, but a man can dream, right? So we're gonna be building him all this stuff. You know, I'm gonna rip apart everything. So I have to rip off all of his accessories and take off his doors and all that stuff and build him something cool. He also wants a rear bumper for this thing, but he also wants a spare tire carrier on it too. So I don't know what we're gonna do after I build the cage for this thing. I think we'll kind of tie in the spare tire carrier and rear bumper together. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do just yet, but we will do something cool. We will do something fun, and it's gonna be a good time. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching these videos. And I'm sorry that I haven't made one in a long time, but come along on this journey. We're gonna have some fun doing it, and yeah, Turbo S, it's just not for me. I've sat in this thing. I kind of had to drive it around and pull it in the shop, and these things feel really weird, really weird, especially from, you know, a Pro XP is what I'm used to versus the Turbo S. I am not a small guy. I'm big, I'm fat. These cars aren't made for me. I remember when I used to want one. I wanted one so bad when it first came out, and I was like, yeah, the Turbo S is so awesome. I want it so bad. But, you know, I'm glad I didn't. I feel like Donkey Kong in this thing. I'm not saying that all you guys have Turbo S's and that's how you feel in it, because I'm sure it fits plenty of people. I just personally don't like it because I'm too big for it. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you haven't already checked out our rest of the videos, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do. It really helps me out. Hit that bell notification, let you know whenever I make upload videos, and when the rest of these part of these videos go live, you'll be notified. So if you want to check out the whole build on this thing, I think it'll be pretty sweet. Yeah, let's get down to it. I'm dreading taking off all these accessories. It doesn't sound like fun, but I'm gonna put you guys on a little time lapse. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this thing apart. Stick with me. So I just took off this SMB air pumper. I've never used one of these, but do you guys use them? I mean, I only use the rugged ones personally, but I'm curious to see if those of you guys out there actually run these things, if you actually like them. So if you run them, comment below. Let me know if you like them, because I'm curious to see how it works and how it stacks up to a Rugged Radios one. So if you guys use it, let me know. I'm curious to see if, I mean, I could always tell you guys or customers, whatever it is, if it's good or bad. I don't know, but I'm curious. But also, pro tip, when you're taking apart all these cars, usually I have a tendency to grab all these nuts and bolts and everything that's in there, and I'll put them in a tray, and then when it comes to actually putting everything back on here, I'm just like, where does that bolt go? Or what did I do with this one? You know, sometimes it's good to like get baggies and label them and all that stuff, but what I do is I just put it right back on here and just put the nuts on there and just how it was, and then put it on your table, good to go. So, pro tip. Now, I'm going back over here.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, guys, welcome. This is day 2 because yesterday my GoPro decided to die, but whatever. Anyways, rookie move, right? I know it's been a while since I've done these videos, so bear with me. So as you can see, everything's off the car. Everything is good to go. There's his cage right out there. Yeah. And so when I was talking over with the customer, we talked about building him a cage, and I told him it was a pretty good extensive process, and the cost kind of goes up, and it takes a little bit longer for me to build, and I'm sure he wants his car back. So upon talking to him, we kind of decided, I mentioned, hey, there's this company called LSK Suspension. They do these custom cages just like Cage Works and a lot of those companies out there right now that are doing these cages for these cars. If you were to get a cage from Cage Works or Brick City Fab or whatever it may be, it could take you months to get. So I told him I could build you a cage, which I have every capability of doing that because I did that with our car. Or you can get one of those weld it yourself cages. He doesn't have the ability to weld the cage himself, whether it be a space or the equipment and tools, whatever it is. I've done it before. It's actually pretty cool. So while I was taking apart the car yesterday, FedEx decided to drop off a cage for me. That's right. This is a cage from LSK, and it's pretty damn amazing how easy it is that they make it for you. They give you all the bungs and everything that you need for this car, and you have to just basically put in the bungs, put in the cage, and then kind of line everything up, ratchet strap it, and start welding. Takes the guesswork out of angles, takes the guesswork out of bending tube and all that stuff, and making sure the customer's happy with it. He saw it online, he liked the way the design was, and I told him to go for it. So we got this cage from LSK. It's we had it on our car before I decided to go full doors and all that stuff, and completely I want to go 120 wall, and I convinced him to do 120 wall as well on his car. So all these cages are 095, and since we're going to be racing this car, I want him to be safe just like we were. And so we went with a 120 wall cage, and it does everything. All these cages come notched and have these little keyholes to make sure everything is square. It takes all the guesswork out of that, the measurements and all that stuff. You basically have to weld all the tubes together. You put the tubes in these little bungs and put the roof on. The only kind of guesswork you have to do is making sure that the roof kit is square, and you have to weld on tabs and all that stuff, and you put the roof on. Pretty easy, pretty awesome, pretty straightforward. I like it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be putting on this cage today. I'm not sure if I have the time to fully weld it today, but I will be definitely putting it together. So this is a main structure, and a huge thing too is when you do these, when you release take the stock cage off, you can literally see your car like bend in. Everything kind of like ugh, and settles. So what you have to do is put a jack under the center, and look at this. I got this beautiful Pro Eagle jack down there, right in the center of the car, and just kind of lift it up so that way the car kind of straightens out again and takes all the weight off the center, so it's not bowing in anymore. And then you basically get these. Let's see if I can do this with one hand without scratching his car. That goes there, and that one goes there. Boom. And now you can see the profile of the actual car, what it's going to look like. The stock cage, and you can see it, how it kind of lifts up. And not even to mention, I don't even understand why Polaris did this, but they have these cages that are actually bolted together right there. So right there, there's all kinds of bolts and tubes and unnecessary junk, if you ask me, which takes the strength and rigidity off these stock cages, and that thing is not going to save your life. This thing has a solid tube all the way up and over. It's going to have obviously a brow bar up top. You have what's it called, an intrusion bar in the front. bar going that way, and it's so much stronger, so much better than stock, that's for sure. So this thing is going to be rad. I'm gonna go ahead and start to assemble this cage, take you guys with me, and I'll set you a little time lapse showing me how I did this. What's awesome though, I really like about these cages before I go, is these keyholes, man. That really makes life so much easier. I don't know if you could see that one right there, but that keyhole here will match up to this one over here, makes that back straight. Then you have to measure basically from the back to the front, get that straight. But they can't make it too easy for you. They have to make you work a little bit, right? So we're gonna make sure that's square and make sure that's all good. Tack it up, get this thing welded up, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so it's all done. I mean, not done. It's put together now. As you can see, with these kits, everything comes pretty damn close. I mean, all their notches are really good, and I mean, everything's really good. So you can see, it's actually got 3 roof bars. All that stuff is awesome. I ran into a little bit of trouble with this kit, only because these top two, these, I guess, braces or whatever you want to call them right here, the B pillar, it was like 1/8 of an inch too long, so I had to trim this much. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but I had to trim a little bit off. It just, every time I would go to push it in, it would lift up the back and it just wouldn't set right. So I had to trim a little bit off of it, and then now that I trimmed that, everything sits perfectly, and I'm not fighting all these mounts and stuff. Everything's good to go on it. It looks pretty damn awesome. So much better than stock. I'm pretty stoked with it. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and start tack welding some of the stuff. We still have to put the 2 intrusion bars up in here. But I think I'm going to do that after I start tacking everything in and making sure everything's structurally sound, only because it's kind of a pain in the butt. So it'd be much easier with probably 2 people. That way somebody holds. I don't know if you saw it in one of the videos or part of that little time lapse, but I'll move one bar and another bar falls or something like that. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Having 2 hands is probably better. But having this strap on there, what that does is it literally squeezes everything together and makes sure everything's nice and tight when you do it. And also make sure that these tubes come, I guess, pre-treated with like a oil on them, and you have to make sure that you get that oil off, not only to weld, because you have to have a clean surface to weld, but I mean, it just makes things easier. Your hands don't end up like crazy black. I had gloves on, but it was a pain in the butt. I hate wearing gloves. So I just use some good old acetone, and that just kind of cleans everything up, makes everything nice and shiny and stuff, and gets that oil off of it. And once you get that oil off of it, you can see that all these tubes are actually marked with like part numbers on them. And let me see if I can get, this is the instruction manual that it comes with, and it basically tells you part numbers and which tube goes where. And I mean, for the most part, it's like a giant adult Lego set. If you have any sort of fabrication experience, it's pretty easy to do. And luckily, you know, I mean, I don't know if it's something that they messed up on by doing it a little bit too long, if that's something they're aware of, I'm not sure, or something that I messed up on, but I don't think there was just no way possible that this thing would actually go on without trimming a little bit. It just made life so much easier, and I wasn't sitting there fighting with it the whole time. Yeah, I'm pretty I'm pretty stoked on it. It actually looks so damn good. That stock cage, well, stock cages are garbage, you all know that, but this thing just totally transforms the look of the whole car itself. It just looks so much better. So much better. So I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld this thing up, and we'll wrap up this video right here. I know it wasn't a whole long video, but what I'll do is I'll start tack welding it, and then once I get everything done, maybe part 2, you'll see what this thing turned out like. And then we'll go ahead and probably prep it, paint it, and start adding all his accessories back on and get him set up to go racing. But I don't know what he wants me to do, because we also have some PRP doors that we're waiting on to get in. But they just had the Sand Sport show, so PRP is extremely busy right now, and plus it's like dune season. I mean, Halloween's coming up. All the people from Southern California are going to Glamis and everything like that because the weather's cooling down. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See how this thing turns out. I think it's gonna be pretty badass. Maybe I'll get him to change some things around, get his car set up. It'll be a pretty basic race build, but a race build nonetheless. See you guys in the next one.